Among the issues facing the next Congress will be massive budget deficits. What specific tax hikes will you support to help dry up that red ink? 1 minute.
Thank you. There were massive, unjustified tax breaks given during the Bush administration and during the Trump administration. All of them should be repealed. 80% of them went to the upper 2 percentile. We need those revenues in order to make sure that we have Medicare for all, that we have a Green New Deal, that families get access to the education which they need for their family members. We have to make sure that we provide the help for everyone who needs it. We have to think big in 2021. And not only do we need to increase taxes, we also need to cut the defense budget. It is bloated. There is upwards of $1.5 trillion of new nuclear weapons built into the defense budget over the next generation. We do not need any new nuclear weapons. We must cut those programs and transfer them into the healthcare, the education, and all the rest of the programs that we need for the people in our country.
Mr. Kennedy, tax hikes you'll support to dry up the deficit.
Yes, look, this needs to, we need to repeal the Bush-era tax cuts, and we need to repeal the Trump tax cuts. That's exactly where we should start. But that's not going to be enough in order to actually bring about the structural change that I believe we need. But in addition to those tax changes, John, we also need to address the fact that workers have been exploited now for generations. We've seen an erosion of worker power in this country that has been taking place literally over the course of the past 50 years. From the decreased percentage of union households, to the flattening of wages, to the economic ability of American families to be able to meet their own needs. And the fact is that much of that has happened on Senator Markey's watch. And look, that fight for economic dignity, that is why I got into office. That is why I ran for it. Because the central promise that this country makes our people is that you're going to be able to make ends meet. And we have to update that social compact when it comes to issues like affordable child care for every family. It is more expensive to send a child to care for a child from birth to 5 every year, John, than send them to college in this state. That needs to change.
Rebuttal.
Well, look, this is just a question of justice. In our country right now, for example, there are 12 million children without the internet at home. And that's going to lead to a homework gap, that's going to lead to a learning gap, which is going to lead to an opportunity gap for those children. So building on my $54 billion internet program for every child on their desk in the classroom, I'm down in Washington right now fighting for the $4 billion to make sure that those 12 million children get the internet at home. Otherwise, we're going to have an educational tragedy in our country. And the same thing is true. We need to ensure that there is paid sick leave, that there is paid child leave, that we ensure that everyone gets the basic income that they need in our country. We have to think big next year, but in this coronavirus package right now, we have to protect those children. We have to protect our fishermen here in Massachusetts. We have to make sure that there's an extension for the unemployment benefit for all of the workers here in Massachusetts. That's what I am fighting for right now on the floor of the United States Senate, and that our cities and towns get the funding they need so they don't have to lay off teachers, our public safety, our healthcare officials right now. That is the fight that's being waged on the floor of the United States Senate, and I am standing up and fighting for them in the same way that the people of Massachusetts would want their senator to fight.
Response.
Much of the details that Senator Markey just related are core aspects of the HEROES Act, a bill that passed the House of Representatives literally months ago. And the reason why we could pass it? Because we won the House. So we could actually set the terms of that debate, passed legislation that supported our hospitals and our first responders and our families and states and municipalities so that teachers can get to work, and the additional $50 billion we just provided for child care centers. That is the difference of what happens when you have folks that will go out there and actually campaign across this country to deliver change. Senator Markey has been in office for 47 years. He's had the chance to do that. And when we needed him most, progressive voices to drive that change, to hold the Senate, or to flip the Senate. He didn't do that. We're seeing the consequences of it right now.
Go ahead, briefly, please.
I just have to correct the Congressman once again. Back in March, when the coronavirus hit, I actually crossed the aisle, went over to the Alaska delegation with Elizabeth, and we said, we need $300 million for the fishermen. We got that passed. It's in the coronavirus package for New Bedford, for Gloucester. It was very clear that the gig workers of Massachusetts, 255,000 of them, would have no unemployment benefits at all from the state or the federal government. I was successful in making sure that they got $600. That lasts until the end of this year. The administration did not want to provide $150 billion in health care assistance. They only wanted to give $100. I recommended, because of the leadership of our Massachusetts hospitals, that we hold, that we fight. We got that money, and we got the money for testing as well. So on the floor of the Senate, in this tough fight, I stood, I fought, and I won for the people of Massachusetts.